Today I'm talking as part of our business spotlight program. I'm talking to Lee Chitty. He's with Struccie Design in Blackpool in Cork, and we're going to talk to Lee today. So Lee, maybe you tell us what you do and for how long have you been doing it?
Hi Kevin. Yeah, I'm a structural detailer. I set up Struccie Design in 2015 while I was working abroad. Myself and my wife have got 4 young children. I was working away a lot, so kind of like decided that it would be a good option to try and give it a go, set up a business, doing what I enjoy, which would enable me to work from home or work local rather than working away fairly regularly. So I set up Struccie in 2015 while I was still working for other companies and started to take on work on the side, if you like, small batches of work. And then I came to the end of a contract while working abroad and decided that now was the time, if you like, to give it a go. I got offered a project from a previous colleague from the UK to start working on, and ironically that project was the reason why I decided to be brave enough to go out and start the company full time. Funny thing being is the project never actually went ahead. Yeah, always makes me laugh, but so yeah, decided to set up the company, opened up a small office in Blarney, which is where I live. There was small portions of work coming in all the time. I did a lot of outreach into companies and possible clients through email, calling, and eventually one of my still biggest clients contacted me after reading an email I sent them offering our services. And our services are generally used by the construction industry, steel fabricators, contractors, structural engineers. We offer a service for a broad range of things, but mainly it would be building information modelling, steel detailing, reinforced concrete detailing, and also structural design. So over the last few years, our client base has grown and is quite diverse. We've got, I'd say, about 8 to 10 regular clients, and then maybe another 10 to 15 clients who come to us every now and again where they've got an overflow of work and they can't deal with it. So yeah, it's been an interesting 5 years, especially with COVID. And as I started the company, I've started the company as a structural detailer and not a businessman. So unfortunately, I've had to learn the hard way with regards to making mistakes, financial and business based. But it gives you a thicker skin and you learn along the way. So yeah, it's been a good ride so far.
Fantastic. And who is your best customer or group of customers, or what do they look like? What would be the profile of your best customer?
Our best customers would be steel fabricators. So they'd win a project. They may not have steel detailers in-house because they don't want to take the overhead or the cost of employing a steel detailer, plus the insurance and the software costs. So they'd outsource the work to someone like us, where there's other companies that come to us who do have that resource in-house. However, it might be a case that a project they win is too big for their current staff, or it might be that they've got a lot of work on and they want to carry on with the project, but they don't have the resources to do the steel detailing, so they asked us to come on board.
Fantastic. Okay. And were there any business changes you had considered that COVID-19 made a necessity, when it did hit?
I suppose the main thing was obviously having to work from home, and the biggest change, and I think it was a positive change, was previously, and we still do use email as a great way of communicating with our clients, but obviously Microsoft Meetings, Zoom, all of these platforms have come to the fore. And with regards to the way we work, it's an amazing tool to communicate with our clients. Screen sharing is a great way of communicating and dealing with problems, where before we'd ring up the client or send an email. And as much as you would get there in the end, the model sharing in particular through Microsoft Teams or Zoom, it's an amazing tool, and I think it's made our lives a lot easier. So yeah, I suppose that's one positive that's come from COVID.
Well, you kind of got my second question there as well. So all the actions you've taken because of the pandemic, what are some that will remain part of your business? You see that being the situation going forward? Yeah,
for sure. We're working on a job at the minute that's being run by an American company. The project's in Australia, and we're dealing with an Indian office. So there's several teams in different countries all working on the same job and collaborating. And would we have done that 10 years ago? I very much doubt it.
Yeah.
That we don't need to be in their office now is huge.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Our business is the same. We're getting much better reach, and also being able to communicate, across the globe, as we say, but in our situation, which is a fabulous example there as well. So what would you say is your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
Biggest learning, I would say, is believe in yourself.
Okay.
Your product or your business. When I first started out, there would be, say, conversations that I'd have with a client where maybe there was a miscommunication with regards to what information we'd provide them. Or say, for example, say there was an issue on site and they'd come back to us and, be hot and flustered, and you'd be sitting there going, geez, lads, we've made a mistake here. What we're going to do? I've learned to take a breath, step back, give it a minute, review the information, and then go again and believe in what you've done. And there's been many a times where we've had to say, look, for instance, pricing, this is our price. We believe in what we're offering you as a good service. If you're not happy, I'd suggest you ask our competitors to give you a price and come back to us then. And the first time I did that, I did it with one of our main clients. So I went home all flustered, speaking to the wife, going, geez, I don't know what I've done here, could have potentially lost one of our main clients. And about 3 weeks later, he came back and we had an open and frank conversation, and we're still doing a lot of their work. So sometimes you do need to remember that you do a good job, and sometimes you have to have frank and honest conversations with your clients. And the times that we have, it's created a better working environment.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's been very clear on what you're selling, I suppose, because I know I had a client you reminded me of there when you're talking, where during the last recession, well, albeit we saw it as an opportunity, people left us for pricing, but they came back for what we were selling,
Yeah.
And it's to be clear on that, what that is, but that's a whole other conversation. Are there any offers you'd like to include in the newsletter?
I don't think so.
Yeah. But again, I suppose if anyone is interested in your services as you've described them now, that they obviously can make contact and you give them a great service.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose maybe I wasn't too sure in what you meant by that, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what just to finish up, what do you find is most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring, work-wise or just generally?
Anything, either or both.
I think people people with compassion and people giving their time without wanting anything back, whether that is in work or, you know, in your home life. I admire people, you know, who have that in them. Nurses, for instance, you know, their job isn't a job; it's kind of like a calling, isn't it? It's
yeah. There's a lot more than just a job in there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's great to see that, and it's kind of what makes everything work in our community. You know, to have enough. Yeah, and it reminds me. You're reminding me of a quote from Zig Ziglar, which I'm paraphrasing, I'm sure. But the more you help people get what they want, the more you get what you want. You know. You know, whereas, you know, if we keep chasing money all the time, money tends to get further away, type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, absolutely. But, you know, the culture of the business is huge now these days, doing a lot of work on that. But listen, Lee, it's been great talking to you today. And, you know, we look forward to talking to you in the future.